Hello, you are welcome to Meza channel. Today, our message is about President Biden and his role in the end times, what he's doing to prepare the United States for the end times. Biden prepares America for nuclear Armageddon. Biden prepares America for nuclear Armageddon. Is Biden the four-star general? I'm asking the question whether President Biden is the four-star general. Why am I asking that question? I'm asking the question because in a vision some time ago, before Biden came in a vision I saw President Trump, number 45, who was preparing to hand over power to a four-star general. I didn't understand what it meant, but it meant that President Trump was handing over the baton, the mantle, to somebody who is a four-star general. It is not surprising that President Trump lost the 2020 elections and number 46 came in. Number 46, President number 46, Joe Biden, came in 2020, and in 2022, President Biden made a speech, October 2022, and he said that the world is closer to nuclear Armageddon, worse than what existed during the 1962 Cuban Missile Crisis. So I'm asking this question: in the end times, Biden prepares America for nuclear Armageddon, and I'm asking the question whether President Biden is the four-star general that I saw in a vision. Is Biden the four-star general to whom President Trump handed the mantle? President Biden is saying that the U.S. must prepare for nuclear Armageddon because of what is happening in Ukraine. And President Biden also said that there's a prospect, a possibility that chemical or biological weapons will be used in Ukraine. Why is he saying that? Is Biden laying the groundwork for a false flag event in Ukraine? If there is the use of chemical weapons or biological weapons in Ukraine, will the U.S. respond, and how will the U.S. respond? If there's the use of tactical nuclear weapons in Ukraine, will the United States respond, and how will the U.S. respond? President Biden is saying America must prepare for nuclear Armageddon, and he's saying this when we are very close to the November midterm elections in the United States, November 2022. When Biden is talking about nuclear Armageddon, we should remember what has been happening in the United States since President Biden took over power in 2020. First of all, remember the PSA, Public Service Announcement, that occurred in New York, preparing the citizens of New York City to do what they have to do in the event of nuclear attack in New York City. And now in subways in New York, there are billboards warning people about nuclear attack and what they have to do. Not only that, in Denver, Colorado, there are demonstrations, announcement about people carrying backpacks and telling them what to do in case of nuclear attack. So it appears that the whole of the United States, they are aware that something likely will happen, and definitely it's a nuclear attack, nuclear Armageddon. It came from the mouth of the President of the United States himself, President Biden. At the time of making this video, the U.S. government under Biden is preparing to purchase, already has purchased $290 million worth of anti-radiation pills. Those pills will be used to fight radiation that expectedly will come from a nuclear strike on the United States. So when the U.S. government is preparing the people to buy, or the U.S. government is stockpiling anti-radiation drugs in the United States, it shows that the United States is preparing for what Biden says nuclear Armageddon. The United States military is on high alert, and there's a reason for that, because President Putin put Russia nuclear forces on alert since he invaded Ukraine in February 2022. I was watching a video, and the commentator was talking about unusual presence of military aircraft in the United States, and he referred to the Stratotankers. Stratotankers are particular military aircraft that are used to refuel planes in the atmosphere, area refueling. When there's a nuclear strike, the plane carrying the US president and the decision leaders have to fly, and they have to be refueled, and they cannot permanently remain in the sky without being refueled. And the Stratotankers are the special military aircraft that are used to refuel those special aircraft. And the video commentator said that he has seen unusual pattern of a large number of Stratotankers in the air, indicating a heightened activity, and whether the U.S. is preparing for nuclear attack or the U.S. is doing a military exercise in preparation for a nuclear attack, whether the U.S. is doing an exercise to simulate how the United States will respond to a nuclear attack. And there are also commentators who have also reported seeing the Looking Glass plane. It's a special military plane, and that will be used for command and control in the case of a strike, a nuclear strike on the United States. And so in this video, we are saying Biden prepares America for nuclear Armageddon, and I'm asking the question whether Biden is the 4-star general. Is that the person that Trump handed over power to? You may not understand why I'm saying that. Definitely, Trump handed over power to Joe Biden. But in the vision that I had before the handover happened, I saw Trump preparing to hand over power to a 4-star general. So I'm asking the question whether Biden is a 4-star general. And we have to look at the dramatic events that have happened since Joseph Biden became the president of the United States. Is Biden a wartime president? The answer is yes. Joseph Biden is a wartime president. At the time of making video, as you are aware, there's a proxy war going on in Ukraine. It's a proxy war because Ukraine is being used as a proxy by both United States and Russia to fight a war that potentially can lead to a nuclear war. From February 2022 up to the time of making this video, the Biden government has given Ukraine $66 billion, $66 billion to fight the war in Ukraine. And Ukraine is not even a member of NATO, but United States government has given Ukraine $66 billion to fight a war. And we can definitely say that Joseph Biden is a wartime president. The Land Lease Act has been reactivated. The Land Lease Act was a law that permitted the United States to help European governments fight Second World War. And the Land Lease Act has been reactivated since President Biden became Joseph Biden became the president of the United States. What does it mean? It means that as it happened in 1944, it will happen in 2022. The United States is preparing for a major war. Definitely the US is preparing for World War III. And so the Land Lease Act has been reactivated. President Biden is a wartime president. He is the president taking America through the New World Order. It came from the horse's own mouth. President Biden said it himself. President Biden made a statement that the United States will lead the New World Order. The New World Order is a stage in world history where they are preparing the world to be taken over by the Antichrist. And Biden is continuing what the former presidents of the United States did, what the founding fathers of the United States planned for America in the last days. They planned a Novus Ordo Seclorum. They planned a new world order, and the inscription of the new world order is on the American dollar bill. The Bush number one, Bush number two articulated the new world order, and that resulted in a series of wars that were fought by the United States in the Gulf War, in Afghanistan, and other places and in the world. And President Biden says America will lead the new world order, and is leading as he promised. As you can see, the events coming to United States, the events coming from UK, the events coming from Ukraine, rather. The US is leading the new world order. They are preparing the world for the new world order. And President Biden didn't hide the intention, and he said the United States is preparing or must prepare for a nuclear Armageddon. When a president of the United States talks about a nuclear Armageddon, he's talking about a time when there will be nuclear war, and we have to imagine, we have to fathom, we have to envisage what the result will be, not only for people living in the United States, but also for people living in the world. President Biden, is he a nice person? Is he a peace-loving person, or is he a hawk? It doesn't matter who he is, whether he talks about peace or he talks about war. What you have to remember is that in the last days, Satan has his agents, and Satan can indwell any person to bring the agenda of Satan. The agenda of Satan is to steal, to kill, and to destroy. And the agents of Satan working for a new world order, they are preparing the world for the man of perdition, the son of lawlessness, the son of perdition, the man of lawlessness, the Antichrist. They are preparing that person, and they are preparing the stage for that person. And the stage is the new world order. And as part of the new world order, they have to reset the world economy. They have to reset the population of the world. And one way of doing that is to go to war. And so they are preparing for war, and the president of the United States has to alert the people that the U.S. is preparing for nuclear Armageddon, and they are preparing a false flag event, the use of chemical or biological weapons in Ukraine, and even the use of tactical nuclear weapons in Ukraine. If those things happen, then the agents of the New World Order, including the President of the United States, will have a legal justification to go to war. Not only any war, not conventional war, but nuclear war, because they are talking about nuclear Armageddon. So Biden is preparing the world, preparing the United States for nuclear Armageddon. And when they are talking about nuclear Armageddon, you have to remember that it's what the Bible has prophesied, and we are in the last days, and the empires of the world are preparing for nuclear Armageddon, and it didn't come from any other person but number 46, the man who Trump handed over power to, and is Biden, the 4-star general. Is he a special person? And why is it that under Biden so many things have happened rapidly, particularly in Ukraine, and particularly in relationship between the United States and Russia? Why is Biden talking about nuclear Armageddon? Does he know something that we don't know? And why is the US so much obsessed with Ukraine? And why are they spending a lot of money, billions of dollars in Ukraine to fight a proxy war? And when President Biden says that the US will lead the new world order, is his announcement about nuclear Armageddon part of the new world order? Definitely, reduction of global population is part of the new world order, and there's nothing that can be used to wipe part of the population of the world better than the use of nuclear weapons, nuclear Armageddon. You have to remember that it's not everybody who is interested in peace. It's not everybody who is on the side of the kingdom of God. A lot of presidents are on the side of the kingdom of Satan, and they are doing the bidding of Satan, and they are preparing the world for nuclear Armageddon to take so many people to hell, to destroy global economies, and to help Satan take millions, if not billions, to hell. If you have not repented, you have to repent, accept the gospel of Yeshua, Jesus Christ, because we are living at a time where the leaders of the world are preparing for nuclear Armageddon. President Biden has said it, and cities and states in United States are preparing for nuclear Armageddon. And the United States government has even purchased $290 million worth of anti-radiation drugs to be used by people. And billboards in the United States preparing people for possibility of nuclear war. And President Putin of Russia has already warned that he will defend his country with all means at his disposal, including nuclear weapons. And he has already put the Russian strategic forces on high alert. So we are in the end times, and what the Bible said about end times are unfolding. And behold, Joseph Biden, number 46, the 4-star general, is announcing to the world that America is preparing for nuclear Armageddon. If you have not repented, this is the time for you to do so as America prepares for nuclear Armageddon. The question we ask is this: is Joseph Biden the 4-star general? Did Trump hand over power to somebody who is very special? Remember that on January 20th, a year when there's an American elections, the Freemason, they do a special chanting in the United States for the spirit of Nimrod, the spirit of the Antichrist, to inhabit, to indwell the president who is going to be installed as the person who is going to be installed as the president of the United States. And you remember what happened when Satan indwelled Judas. He was filled with demonic spirit, and as a result, he betrayed the Son of Man. And the same way, the spirit of Nimrod, the spirit of Freemason, can indwell the American president for him to do the unthinkable. And so the president of the United States, Joseph Biden, is saying that America must prepare for nuclear Armageddon. What does it mean? It means that we are in the end times, and this is an alert. Prepare. The world is going to face a nuclear Armageddon, and it should not surprise you, because all these events were predicted in Matthew chapter 24. The events were predicted in the book of Daniel. The events were predicted in the revelation that was given to Apostle John by Yeshua. All those events will happen. Biden prepares America for nuclear Armageddon. So he has already stated this, and it is no secret. So what is planned behind the scene has come out from the mouth of the president, number 46, Joseph Biden. Is he the 4-star general? Is he playing his part? Is he playing his part in the years that the Freemason, the Illuminati, have used to prepare for a day like this, when there will be a nuclear Armageddon, and when the population of the world will be reduced to 500 million, as they stated in their manifesto that was written on the Georgia Guidestones. As you are aware, Biden prepares America for nuclear Armageddon. Thank you for this message.